All right, class, we are on to lesson 2, page 13. First problem here, you'll notice some markings on here. I apologize, but that's what happens when you start making a video without putting record. So this is lesson 2, so I'm assuming we still have our books there, right? Haven't lost that. Anybody in the class? That shall remain nameless of who I'm speaking to. But first question is, Claire sees 100, Tyler sees 1, Maya sees a 100th. Where is that coming from? And who do you agree with? Well, Claire sees 100 if you're looking at all the individual boxes. Tyler sees 1 if you're looking at the whole thing, the outside being one just large box. Maya sees 100th if you just look at one of the individual boxes. Now on to the next page. It says in the diagram, the medium rectangle is made up of 10 small squares. As you can see here, 10 small squares. The large square is made up of 10 medium squares, or medium rectangles, 10 of these basically. How can you represent the large square as a power of 10? So, well, as a power of 10, I have 10 boxes going each direction. That is 10 squared. It does say leave it as a power, so we cannot answer just 100 there. If each small square represents 10 squared, then what does the medium rectangle represent? So that means if each one of these would be 10, 10 squared, that's 10 by 10. What would the big one represent? Well, if this would be 10 here, and then over here I have 10 of those, that would be 10 squared on that side, right? 10 going up, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, all the way would be 100. So I'm just going to leave it in exponential form with a exponent there, of course. So 10 and 10 squared, that means I have 3 tens, of course, going that way. How about the large one? All right, the large one. Well, now I know that one side all the way up is 10 squared, and that would be the same for the other side. So 10 squared represents 100. This represents 100 as well. But you will see a pattern here. 10 squared times 10 squared is just 10 to the 4th. All right, a 1 with 4 zeros, 1,000. All right, 100 times 100 is 1,000. If we wouldn't want to leave it in that form. Okay, how about number 3? If the medium square represents 10 to the 5th, what does the large square represent? And how about the small one? Okay, so if this side then would be 10 to the 5th, this would be 10, of course. If that represents 10 to the 5th, then I take a 10 off of there, right? So I'm taking that off of there. Each small one would represent 10 to the 4th, so I'm going backwards. Okay, I went from 10 squared to 10 to the 3rd to 10 to the 4th. Now I'm going backwards. It gives me the middle one. It gives me the middle one being 10 to the 5th. All right, so if I take a 10 off of there, it's 10 to the 4th. The large one would be one bigger than that, which of course would be 10 to the 6th. So just looking for the patterns. Number 4, how would it work if the largest one is 10 to the 100th? And it's looking for the medium and the small then. So it's giving me the large one. So I'm just working backwards once again. 10 to the 99, 10 to the 98. So again, same pattern. Question number 15. Multiplying by powers of 10. It says you can skip one box. If you do, be prepared to say why. So looking at this, I am guessing if you're going to skip one, you're going to choose this one. Why? Well, because the exponents are ginormous. So to answer part B here, you would say I'm going to skip it because I didn't want to deal with writing something 18 times and 23 times, so that would be the one that I would skip. Maybe you want to write them all. That's fine. Then don't skip any. Okay? Don't skip any. But looking at this, I have 10 squared. I got 10 to the 3rd, so I got 2 tens and I got 3 tens. That's a total of 5 tens combined there. If I have 4 tens, and I'm multiplying that by 3 tens, how many tens do I have? 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. How about if I have 4 and another 4. Adam, hopefully this doesn't describe your golf swing, right? 4. I have a total of 8 tens. All right, on the next one, I have the expanded form now. I got to work backwards. Well, what is represented here? That is 3 tens and 5 tens. That is a total of 8 tens once again. Now, even if I don't want to expand this, right? Even if I don't want to expand this, I can write it as a single power, following the same method that I have before. Do you see it? How do I get 5 from these exponents? How do I get 7 from these exponents? How do I get 8 from these exponents and 8 again? You are adding them together. So when you are multiplying and the bases are the same, base means the big number, you simply add the exponents. You shouldn't have to do all this. We're not doing it here, right? And I can add 18 plus 23, and I know how many tens there will be. There will be 41 of them. So if I'm going to rewrite this to show a pattern, what would go in the box? What do I do with these exponents? Well, I will add them together, and that is my generic equation. When I multiply the same base, I simply add the exponents. All right, use your rule to write this with a single exponent. Okay, so let's do that first. I'm going to add 4 plus 0. So what does that tell us about 10 to the 0? 10 to the 4th times what would give us 10 to the 4th? Well, anything to the 0 power is 1. It doesn't matter what the number is. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Question number 3. State of Georgia has 10 to the 7th human residents. Each human has roughly 10 to the 13th bacteria cells. How many bacteria cells are there in the digestive tract of all the humans in Georgia? So this many humans, this many bacteria cells per human. Simply add the exponents, and you should get 10 to the 20th. Last thing to mention. There are 4 different ways to write 10 to the 4th. 4 different ways. Okay, that means how many different ways can I add to get to 4? That's all it's asking you. Well, I got 4 ones. I could do 1, 1, and 2. I could switch the order. That's not going to be a different one, though. It still counts as 1. 1 plus 3, 2 plus 2. Those are the only ways to get to 4. Okay, now could you do 4 and 0? Why doesn't that count? Okay, notice it says smaller. Well, 4 is not smaller than 4. And positive. Is 0 considered positive? Okay, 0 is probably pretty neutral, right? Right side of that number line would be positive. Left side would be negative. So that is it. That's all I wanted you to see there. So in summary, when you see a problem like this, if it says make expanded form, obviously we need to do that. But if it doesn't, 5 plus 2 is 7. 14 plus 47 is 61. That is going to make life a lot easier for you guys if you remember that equation that we wrote down on the previous page. That is going to be super useful for you going forward. Okay, your assignment, guys, starting on page 18, pretty self-explanatory there. Write it with a single exponent. So there's 2 expressions, write it into one. We've done that. Question number 2 should be simple. Question number 3 should be as well. Question number 4, it says draw a graph for that. Okay, draw a graph for that question is, okay, where's our graph? Well, unfortunately, it's on the next page. So there should be two different equations, one for Elena, one for Jada. Just so everybody does the same, let's put flyers on the bottom and cents on the top. I think we can go by ones this way, and why don't you go by tens that way? That way everybody's graph will look the same. So it should be a graph for Jada, and there should be a graph for Elena. And then down here by this little 20, okay, let's put a little smiley face there. Okay, and we're gonna give the smiley face a straight up unibrow, just to make sure you made it to the end of the video. It is less than 11 minutes long. All right, that will be due tomorrow.